All right, let's just see if that worked. Happy time zones, everyone, and welcome to. Oh no! Happy time zones, everyone, and welcome to Daily Devotion with Beez. I'm your host, Beez the Chaplain, and Jashanya. Oh wow! Welcome. I just wanted just a quick question, Jashanya. Can you hear me? Because I just want to make sure that the the volume's going through. Good morning, Arush. Welcome to a brand new year of daily devotions. Also, good morning, Kazdog, aka Wifey, aka Babe. Please tell me that you can hear me and you can hear the background music, just so I know that everything's working fine. So I'll wait because it's just you and me right now, and a couple of others. Jashanya, yep. Oh, awesome. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a great holiday. And also, I just want to say that it has been about a month and probably nearly 2 months. Was it 2 months? No, over a month since I did this last, and I just had to, and I'm telling you, I'm sweating because I was like, am I going to be prepared? And I am, kind of. But it was funny because a lot of the stuff that I had to rely on, everything was on muscle memory. Everything was on muscle memory. I was freaking out because I was like, what was my body doing when I did this? Like, jumping back on. But it's good to be back, and just letting you know this is the temporary setup right now. And if you're thinking, Beez, why is it the temporary setup? Simply because I'm not going to be sticking around in this location for much longer, to provide you with an update, just in case you're just joining. If this is your first time here, welcome to Daily Devotions. For the people who will be jumping on soon, I'm just going to adjust this. Hopefully it doesn't break. There we go. I do Daily Devotions from 7:30 to 8 o'clock every morning, from Monday to Friday. And so I'm going to kick it off. But the reason why this setup is temporary is because, Karen and I are moving down to Wollongong. And for those of you who are living international, who don't know where Wollongong is, we're currently living in Sydney at the moment. And Wollongong is about an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes, depending on where, down south. So we'll be moving there hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Still looking for a place, but right now we're not stressing out too much. We're not stressing out about it at all. So we're all good. Okay, so I'm going to jump into. Wait, what time is it? Yeah, I'll get a start. I'll make a start. We've said hello. A few people will jump on, and for those of you new in the Wollongong area, or like who's watching on YouTube or on Facebook or whatever. This is where the pattern's gonna come. This is how we're gonna start. It's gonna start every morning. This is all crooked again. Yeah, there we go. We're gonna start, and it's gonna be from Monday to Friday every morning from 7:30 to 8 o'clock. And that's why I'm not too worried about if we hit the ground running. We're just gonna be all nice and chilled. Mix the pick. Good morning. There's a few people that I'll probably say delayed shout outs to. Good morning, Mum. I don't think Mum knew that we were starting. I told her we were starting in February, and it's still the 30th of Jan, so my timing's a bit off. And also Dad, my sound man, he's not on either. So probably when they're waking up, they'll jump on as well. We're going to go into the daily devotion. So we're going to jump into it. And the first thing, we're going to start off I'm not going to say the new year. Well, we're in January. Happy New Year, everyone. But we're going to start it off. And the title of today's devotion is titled Identity in God. Identity in God. And, I realized on my journey towards the end of last year, my relationship with God kind of took a whole new level. Like, if you know anything, like if you're an anime fan and you watch Dragon Ball Z, it's like I went from Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan, say like Super Saiyan level 2 and Super Saiyan level 4, whatever. But like, I felt that, my relationship with God just kind of kicked it into this brand new, on this brand new level. And so I started this year. You might find there's a couple of changes. You'll see a number of changes happening over the next couple of weeks. because one, because of the new studio or because of the new place we're going to be at, the studio is going to look a bit different. Also, I've got a new hashtag, and the hashtag for the last 2 years was for daily devotions was hashtag put Beez to work. And the reason why I wanted to do that was I wanted to make sure that people knew that I was doing stuff. I wanted to make sure that, the churches were closing down. I didn't want to be one of those pastors that people were saying, with churches closing down, pastors get to, don't have to work anymore. It's like, nah. So hashtag put Beez to work was like the explanation as to, I was still working. I was still doing the job. I was still, doing the thing that I felt God called me to do, irrespective of whether church is closed or not. It wasn't the point. This year, my hashtag is different. So that's the main thing that you'll see that's different. And my hashtag this year, or my mantra, or my slogan this year is hashtag unapologetically royal. And I'm going to spend the rest of this year celebrating that. And I'll spend the next couple of months, the next few episodes or devotions, like really breaking open, why this year I'm hashtag unapologetically royal. And if you don't have a mantra, or if you don't have a slogan or something to kind of really solidify yourself in this year, you can take it. It's for free. I'm going to encourage everyone to say that. And it's, hashtag unapologetically royal. So I got to continue. I'm going to jump in. So the daily devotion today is identity in God. And that was the first thing for me. It's who am I in God? And I want to take you to the story. And the story is found in Genesis chapter 39. Well, it's in 38. That's where it starts. But 39, that's where it kind of, actually starts before, sorry, in 37. Because 38's a bit weird. It kind of just changes. It hits a tangent. It's the story of Joseph. And for those of you who don't know the story of Joseph, I'm not going to spend too much time on the story, but basically, it was Joseph was he lived with in a big family, or like heaps of brothers, and his father claimed him as his favorite. Joseph had nothing to do with that. But yeah, it seemed that Jacob said, "You are my favorite." And to show that he was the favorite, he gave him this jacket, this coat, and there's musicals, there's movies, very famous Bible story that, Joseph had his amazing Technicolor dream coat, and the coat wasn't, and this is one thing that I noticed about the story. And if you haven't read the story, read it. It's Genesis chapter 37, goes all the way to chapter 50. Good read, great story. And one thing that I noticed, and something special that you'll need to know about Joseph, is he had the ability to, he had dreams for himself. He had visions, he had dreams. And when he was younger, he didn't interpret the dreams, right? But later on in his life, other people had dreams, and he was able to interpret them. Like God gave him the gift to interpret other people's dreams. And I find that interesting because when he's younger, he has the dream, but he doesn't claim or he doesn't share to anyone what the dream's about. But it's when he's older and he hears other people's dreams, that's when he tells them what it means. And it seems maybe he got scarred from what happened when he told these brothers his dream, because it seemed like, his dreams was about his brothers bowing towards him or his family bowing down, and they got really angry. They were jealous of him. And another thing that I find really interesting about the story of Joseph is that he never once flexes on his brothers. He never comes across as arrogant. He never comes across as, I am the favorite and look at me, look at me. It seems that, and this is being straight up and honest, right? If Joseph was hashtag unapologetically royal, if Joseph was just Joseph, right? And you read that story, it's interesting that just because Joseph is Joseph, you see other people and their reaction towards Joseph. His brothers ended up hating him, ended up building a resentment towards him, being jealous of him, being angry towards him. His father was the one that said, "You are my favorite." Joseph never said, I'm dad's favorite. Joseph's father, Jacob, said, "You are my favorite. I'm going to give you this coat to prove to your brothers that you're my favorite." See, for me, it wasn't his fault. Joseph's just being Joseph. And it's what's funny is that because of the jealousy that his brothers had and the anger, they throw him down into a pit, right? Hold on, I'm just going to... just pulled out the mic. Sorry, I just adjusting this a bit more, just so it's a bit more clearer. So they throw him down into this pit. Then they sell him, right? And then after they sell him, he gets bought by, an Egyptian official. And then from there, he's a slave. Then he gets thrown into prison. And then afterwards, it's there that things kind of, not so much turn around, but, that something happens in the prison between the cupbearer and the bread maker. And then the cupbearer gets released. And then the Pharaoh has a dream. He has a problem. Then they go and find Joseph. And then Pharaoh shares his dream with Joseph. And Joseph interprets the dream. And what I think is really cool is that Joseph then shares what the dream is, but then he goes, hey, this is what the dream means. It means that you will have 7 years, like the land will have 7 years of prosperity and then 7 years of famine, right? But, and in that 7 years of famine, it's going to be tough. And then he makes the recommendation. He says, tell Pharaoh, he goes, have Pharaoh choose someone who he considers wise to go and, be in charge of, managing. And that was a really powerful thing. And I'll read that later. Well, I'll probably read it in another story because we're going to be breaking this up. Today's first one is the identity in God, right? I'm going to go through the 4 eyes of God. I've just decided that now. It's going to be the identity in God is this one, Monday's one, right? And what I find is really interesting is that, Pharaoh ends up choosing Joseph and says, hey, you're the one that told me the dream, interpreted the dream, so obviously you're going to be the one to tell me what the dream means. You're the one that's going to, you're the one that's going to help us and save us, because if you already know the idea and God has given you that, then God's going to give you the solution. And so Joseph goes and he ends up saving everyone. I want to take you today to a specific passage, and I've got a what's it called? A one-liner or a take-home to help us remember this. And this is 39. This is found in Genesis chapter 39, verse 2. And I'll kind of give us a bit of context. Here's 39 verse 1. It says, now Joseph had been taken down to Egypt. Potiphar, an Egyptian who was one of Pharaoh's officials, the captain of the guard, brought him from the Ishmaelites who had taken him there. That's verse 1. So he's been sold by the Ishmaelites to Potiphar, one of Pharaoh's officials. And then this is verse 2. The Lord was with Joseph, and he prospered, and he lived in the house of his Egyptian master. The Lord was with Joseph, and he prospered, and he lived in the house of the Egyptian master. There is so much in that one sentence, right? And what I want to break it open, right? And the main thing that I want to highlight is it said, the Lord was with Joseph, and he prospered, and he lived in the house of his Egyptian master. So there's a couple of contradicting or kind of like, things that are kind of, there's a bit of tension in between these two things. The first one is the fact that he said, Joseph prospered, right? So there's prosperity, there's this abundance, there's this kind of, he's got everything that he needs kind of thing. Not only just food, but security, wealth, that kind of stuff. It says he's prospered. But then at the same time, it says, and he was living in the house of the Egyptian master. So he's still in slavery. But what I think is really important is that there's an extreme there. There's prosperity and abundance in slavery. And what I love about that is the first part of it. And it says, and the Lord was with Joseph. That's what's important. And I think that's what's really special about this passage, and what's special about this story is that the fact that when it came to Joseph, from the pit to the palace, he knew who he was with God. His identity was in God. His identity was not in his circumstances. And I think there's the 4 P's. There was from the pit to Potiphar's to prison to the palace. There was all of those places that he traveled, right? He starts from home, and then he went to the pit, then he went to Potiphar's, then he goes to prison, and then he prospers in the palace. All four of those places it says, and the Lord was with Joseph. What I love about that is that he knew who he was in God. It didn't matter about where he was, didn't matter about what he had. His identity was in God. He knew who he was in God. And that's what I think is really powerful, is that, here, there's no question, there's no doubt. It says that in verse 2, it wasn't, and Joseph knew, right? It says, and the Lord was with Joseph, right? And it's like, for me, when I read that, if I was in Joseph's situation, it's not a thing of, I hope God is with me. It's a no-brainer. God is with me. And it's like, that's what, for me, that's what I love about the story of Joseph. In the story of Joseph, the entirety of the story, you never see him doubt. You never see him question God. You never even see him doubt the existence or the presence of God. Whether he didn't feel it, and this is a really key thing. He didn't feel, it doesn't show, and Joseph felt. There are times when he expresses his emotion, and he expresses emotion towards his brothers. He expresses his emotion for the desire to see his father once again. He expresses his desire towards his brothers to forgive and to love and to say, hey, I know that there was a reason. And there's an expression as to glorifying God, saying, I know the reason why. And I understand the reason why God had to do what he did through you, and because of what you did, God was still able to use me and help me to save you. And for me, it's all about what he knew. It doesn't say, and then Joseph doubted, or Joseph was worried that God was with him or not. And it said, no, the Lord was with Joseph. And it seemed like Joseph knew that. And it was like God and Joseph were like this. And then it's like, just for the benefit for us, it reminds us that, oh yeah, the Lord was with Joseph. That's why. Had it been for Joseph, Joseph would have said, yeah, that's a no-brainer. I already knew that he was with him, because from the pit to the palace, his identity was found in God. For me, there's a lot of things that kind of, no. I'm not going to say there was a lot of things that used to come in between. Not my relationship with God, but my identity found in God, And I would say it comes into two categories, or three categories. I'm going to put it here, right? And so I'm going to list it up. The first one, from the pit to the palace, it didn't matter for Joseph. It didn't matter whether he was in the pit or whether he was in the palace. He knew who he was in God. That's the key thing. His identity was found in God. The second one was from poverty to plenty. It didn't matter for Joseph, because at the end of the day, if Joseph knew that God was with him, that's all that mattered, right? It didn't matter that he was in prison, or it didn't matter that he was in the palace. It didn't matter that he had little, or it didn't matter that he had plenty. All he knew is that who he was in God, and that made all the difference. And that was the key thing for Joseph. And the third one is, and I think this might be a really tough one, especially for me. No, I gotta stop saying that. Not me now, right? From the past to the present, it didn't matter for Joseph. And what I mean from the past to the present, and this is how I'm gonna say old Beez, right? Old Beez was very affected by this. Old Beez was affected by it from the past to the present. The past said that Beez was unworthy. The past said Beez wasn't good enough. The past said, because of what Beez did before in his past, or because of the sins that he committed, or because of the fact that he did this, he could no longer claim that God was with him. But that's not identity in Jesus Christ, or that's not identity in God. That's just being driven by emotion, and driven by potentially fear, or driven by unworthiness. But that's not what I know, and that's not who I am, but that's what I feel. But this is what I love about Joseph, right? In comparison to Beez and Joseph, don't look at past Beez, right? Don't be dictated by feeling, right? Be dictated by what you know. And if you don't know what you know, go into Genesis 39 verse 2, and it says, and the Lord was with Joseph, right? And he prospered in the house of his Egyptian master. So it says, irrespective of prosperity or poverty, or irrespective of the pit or the palace, irrespective of that, the Lord was with Joseph, right? So what my word of encouragement to you is, know who you are in God. Know your identity in God. Know that you are loved, that you are saved, that God has, given everything for you, so you can live in prosperity in Him. right? So irrespective of whether it's the pit or the palace, or irrespective of whether it's poverty or plenty, or whether it's, you're driven or your feelings are dictating your past or your present, right? It's got nothing to do with that. Know who you are in God and find your identity in Him. I'm going to end with the reason why I'm unapologetically royal, and this is why I'm wanting to celebrate that. If you don't have a mantra this year, right, or a slogan or something to help drive you this year, right, use hashtag or use unapologetically royal. Because the reason why is last year I was, I was in a place where I was thinking, that I had a relationship with God. I knew God loved me. But the funny thing is, I was finding it really hard to accept the love of God because I still felt unworthy. And it's not because it's not because I doubted His love for me. It's the fact that I really questioned His ability to forgive what I did to Him. And the way that I turned my back on God and the way that I completely disconnected from Him, I really felt a sense of unworthiness there. And hence the reason why, though I knew that He loved me, there was something about it that was like, who am I to receive the love of God? Who am I, pitiful, creature that I am? But it wasn't until the end of the year, and it wasn't because, my life, I would say, was transformed because I received the gospel again, and I received it with a brand new lens and a brand new understanding. And massive shout out to the Love Reality Tour, shout out to Richard Young, Jonathan Leonardo, Justin Coe, and the team for their amazing ministry, because that helped me understand that it wasn't about my feelings or this feeling of unworthiness. It was believing that I had been fully restored by God, that for what Jesus Christ had done for me, that He showed His love for me, that He reconciled Himself back to me, that I could call myself a child of God, that I could say that it's not a thing where I was coming towards God like a peasant, but I could come to Him like a prince because of what Christ did for me. I was seen as a child of God. I was a child of God. And if I'm the son of the King of the Kings and the Lord of Lords, I'm a child of God. That makes me hashtag unapologetically royal. So this year, my identity is unapologetically royal. And so I really encourage you, and I'm going to read these again, whether it's the pit or the palace, whether it's poverty or plenty, or whether it's the past or the present, right? Know who you are in God. Know that you are loved, know that you are saved, and know that you are also unapologetically royal. Let's have a word of prayer. Lord, I want to say thank you so much that you got me here in this seat for a brand new year. And Lord, if it looks a bit different, your will be done. But I just want to say thank you so much for the people that have joined this morning. Thank you for helping us celebrate community in you, and thank you that we can celebrate that our identity is found in you. Thank you so much that we could take a literal page out of Joseph's book and know that the Lord was with Joseph and he prospered in the house of the Egyptian master. That even in poverty and slavery, from the palace, wherever he was, he never questioned who he was in you. And Lord, I just pray that we can prosper because we know who we are in you. And if we don't know that, Lord, may you reveal yourself to us in a brand new way so we can experience you. We can experience your love, your mercy, your grace, that we can experience the powerful transforming love from the inside out, so we can claim identity in you, that we can claim royalty in you, that we can claim reconciliation and restoration in you. And Lord, I pray that we can celebrate 2023 knowing that we are unapologetically royal, not because of what we've done, but because of who you are and what you've done for us, so we can claim that in you. Lord, I pray that you be with everyone here, the families that they represent, and I pray that you be with us and continue to be with us for the rest of this week. I ask this all in your loving name. Amen. Thank you so much once again for joining for the first daily devotion with Beez for 2023. A few shout outs, and there's a couple of comments, I think. Okay, the first one is, first I'm gonna go through all of this and we're gonna say good morning once again. No, don't want to do that. Okay, hold up. Good morning, Arush. Good morning, Atus. Good morning, Charlie. Hey, looking forward to the catch up. Good morning, Aggie. Good morning, Goshen, Josh? Oh, Josh. Is it Josh? Good morning. They're the fam on Insta. Also want to say a massive shout out to Florentina. And Florentina's got a comment. It says, from the pit to the palace. Amazing. My take on this. We're also in the pit, sinful world, temporary home. We're just passing through. It doesn't matter it didn't matter to Joseph. It shouldn't to us too. And our goal is to be at the palace, eternal life. This is our identity found in God. Thank you, Pastor, for this message. Praise the Lord. Florentina, I also want to add that we can experience heaven on earth here. That we can experience God here. That we don't wait. We experience the identity found in God right here. And the goal, God has given us the invitation to experience that goal here, and but that's exactly right. We don't have to. We're not in. We haven't been called, or we don't live in this in the pit, because in God, it's funny because at the end of the day, if we're with God and we know we're with God, any pit is a palace. Hey, because we're unapologetically royal. I like it. Also, Karen, did you comment? No, just celebrate. Amen. Hey, good morning, Mac. Hope you're doing well. I thought you were still on holidays, like traveling with the family, but because I've been looking at everyone's Insta stories and stuff, it looked like you were having a blast with the surfing trip and stuff like that. It looked cool. And also, Lisa, good to see you as well. And this is going to be, that's family down in Wollongong, where hopefully in a couple of weeks I'll be down there. A couple of announcements just to wrap up. This Friday, if you've got no plans and you wanna take a trip down to Wollongong, I will be preaching at a youth program for everyone, and it's called First Church. So I'll be preaching this Friday at First Church at Wollongong. Then I will be preaching at Wollongong Church this this Saturday, this Sabbath as well. So, hey, what's up, Cooper? Hope you're doing well as well. Peace. Hey, just a friendly announcement. My daily devotions start at 7:30. I like it. But I'm glad the word's coming out. I'm glad you found me on the group chat. Also, in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be doing the Bible studies. I'll be doing online Bible studies. If you don't have a Bible study group and you want to be part of one, let me know, because there's a few online Bible studies that I'll want to shoot your way if you're not part of one, but you want to be part of one. So if you want to be part of an online Bible study group, just so we can journey together, celebrate that we're #unapologetically royal together, let me know and I'll link you, because I'm going to be doing 2 or 3 throughout the week. So please keep me posted. I'll keep you posted. Please let me know so I can send you the details. So couple of announcements. So the main thing is this Friday, First Church, I'll be there. I'll give you the announcements. I think it'll be live streamed as well. So Jashania and the people that are online in the States and stuff, I'm pretty sure it'll be online. So you can tune in on live on Wollongong's Wollongong SCA Church's stream. I'll send you the link. Also, pardon me, this Saturday I'll also be preaching at Wollongong. So family at Wollongong, make sure you're there. Hey, and if you're if you're one of the youth that were at Corrimal as well this Saturday, hey, jump to Wollongong, come and say hello, and I'm pretty sure that there's a feed, and then we can go down to the beach and kick it back, because that's what I'm going to do now. That's what I did on Saturday. Maybe I'm going too long, but that's what I did on Saturday. On Saturday, I went to Corrimal Church. I preached there, had lunch, then me and Karen went straight to the beach. It was like 30 something, and we just went straight to the beach, and it was beautiful. It was so good. And so that's what I'm going to be like for the rest of, for whatever, how long, man. That's what ministry is. Look at the smile on my face, because I know that I'm just going to be going to the beach so much. And if you can tell, my hair's like all salty from the beach. Anyway, I got to wash my hair. I got to clean my hair. Anyway, I'm going to bounce. Do I have any more announcements? No. Yes. This one is, please let me know if you have received the blessing from this message. Praise the Lord, right? Go and share that with someone else. I'm also going to be doing like a 1 minute Hopefully I'll do a 1 minute short or a 1 minute reel to kind of encapsulate what we talked about today. And if you want, send that. I'm also going to be doing like a little carousel actions, so you can send that as well. So please send that to your friends. Tell them to join this community. We'll be here all day, all week. So yeah, hopefully this community once again will grow. And if you know of community, Jashanya, Mix the Pick, especially y'all, if you know the Twitch community and you know people are, aren't here yet, all goods, remind them so they can do daily devotions with us. Everyone on Instagram, spread the word, and also Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram. Have I done anyone? Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Insta. Yeah, tell everyone to join 7:30. I'll see you tomorrow. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up here because I know that I'm rambling, but I'm gonna bounce. Thank you so much once again. Thandi and Maina Sareem. Hello. Thanks for joining. I'm just about to bounce. For the people that are on Twitch, I'm gonna raid Warden. So yeah, you know what? I think I've forgotten my tag, but I'm gonna create a new one, and this is what the tag is gonna be. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna bounce, but Jay! Hey, happy 1 year streaming. Congratulations, man. Congratulations on the journey. We have started this year again. Let's keep on growing, my brother. Much love to you and the family. Anyway, I'm gonna bounce. Yep, I'll give that other announcement soon. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining me for another daily devotion with Beez. I'll see you tomorrow for another daily devotion with Beez. But in the meantime, stay safe, stay blessed, peace out, much love, and remember, you are unapologetically royal. Peace. Yeah.
Top 5 people. I don't know who else in here, but welcome to the domain of sand. I am your host, the Warden. I hope you're having